Shane Gisbergen has completed his first Xfinity race at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and he finishes in 15th. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to the video. As I just said a second ago, Shane Gisbergen has completed his first trip to Charlotte Motor Speedway in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and finishes inside the top 15 in 15th place. At the start of the race, Shane Gisbergen started, I believe, in 29th position, but actually moved up a row to 27 because Kyle Weatherman had some unapproved adjustments on his car, and he had to go to the rear. So this moved SVG up to 27th position. Now, early in the race, Shane Gisbergen struggled a little bit and was starting to fade back, and he's faded back to as far as around 29th to 30th position. But then he had Riley Herbst's crash, and he's actually starting to make a few positions up before that wreck ended up happening. Got up to around 28th position at the time. Then he had some pit stops take place, and Shane Gisbergen came down pit road, lost a little time, but actually got up to around 28th or 27th position after the pit stops. You also had a little bit of strategy up front, guys like Sheldon Creed, Chase Elliott, who was running the race. I think Ryan Sieg as well, and a couple other guys up front decided to stay out. And on the restart, Shane Gisbergen restarted around 28th, but he was starting to make his way slowly but surely up to the front and got up by the end of stage 1 up to around 21st, 22nd position, helped the drivers like Anthony Alfredo got on the outside wall and had some issues. At the end of stage number 1, Shane Gisbergen would be around 22nd or 23rd. Then he came back down pit road and basically put some new tires on and would restart around 25th once again. Actually restarted around 20th or something like that. And then he started moving forward a little bit, but once again started fading back. But his car started to get good as we got into a little bit of the longer run. Then he had the Parker Kligerman spin. He was around 24th position at the time because his car was not very good on the short run, but on the long run, SVG was being a little more aggressive and was starting to make some moves. After that caution happened and some guys came down pit road, they actually stayed out and they restarted around 15th position or 14th position on the restart. But then they quickly fell back, and they fell back to around 25th or 26th position near the end of stage number 2. But there's a big key thing. Shane Gisbergen actually had fresh tires. And same with Chase Elliott and guys like Sammy Smith, who had some extra tires on pit road. At the start of stage number 3, Shane came down pit road and started making up a ton of ground. And his car was starting to come to life, especially to start stage 3. It helped that drivers like Austin Hill and Justin Allgaier got penalties, but he restarted actually around 18th position on the restart. And he started making some really dicey and some really, really big moves. He started making moves to the inside. He started making moves to the outside. He was battling with guys like Sammy Smith and Parker Retzlaff and AJ Allmendinger in the middle of the pack and got up to around 15th position. Then drivers like Justin Allgaier and Austin Hill, of course, were starting to make their way back up to the front because of their penalties, and they got by SVG. And then we got to the green flag pit stops, and Shane Gisbergen was actually up to around 14th position and was inside the top 15 very, very consistently. And then green flag pit stops happened. He was one of the first to come down pit road along with AJ Allmendinger. And actually, after all the stuff that cycled out at the time, SVG was sitting in a very solid 13th position. But everything would change with 30 laps to go when Ryan Ellis spun out on pit road, not on pit road, but coming off of turn number 2 and spun out and hit the inside wall, bringing the caution out. Now, this would be an advantage for him at the time because he would come down pit road and put on his last set of sticker tires. We had a lot of drivers in front of him that had older tires on. The other key thing, it was only about 15 or 16 cars on the lead lap, with Parker Retzlaff being the last car at the time, and he had about 16 cars that were on the lead lap at the time going into the restart. And I thought Shane was going to have an opportunity to maybe get up inside the top 10. However, Taylor Gray came into play and put Shane Gisbergen in the outside wall. I was really hard on him on Twitter. Personally, I think Taylor just made a little bit of an innocent mistake right there. Got a little bit tight, and SVG had nowhere to go. Tough break for him in that situation. He got put in the outside wall, got some damage, and this really killed him getting a chance and opportunity of maybe getting a finish inside the top 10. They came down pit road, repaired the car, and they restarted at the tail end. Meanwhile, you had Justin Allgaier and Ty Gibbs get a ton of damage. Then he's in the back of the group, and then you have another crash between Cole Custer and Austin Hill, and Austin will retaliate against Cole Custer, and it was becoming a race of survival and attrition. Shane would then restart around 20th position on the restart, but started making up a few positions, and then was restarting around 15th or 16th on the final restart, fell back to around 16th or 17th, but actually got his way back up inside the top 15, and he would finally come off the corner in his first trip at Charlotte Motor Speedway and finish in 15th position and was running down guys like Parker Retzlaff in front of him. A very solid day, all things considered, for Shane, and probably his best intermediate run he's had so far. He ran a majority of this race inside of the top 20. And it's not the fact that he started back at 28 for 29, so he improved throughout the races. That's one thing that makes Shane Van Gisbergen very special, is he may not start these races very, very good because Kaulig really struggled today, but they make those cars a lot better. And at times, he was the fastest Kaulig racing car on the racetrack. And to finish inside the top 15 at a really treacherous track like Charlotte Motor Speedway is honestly very incredible. And he's going to be able to use this experience for the race tomorrow night, because remember, he's also going to be running the Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow afternoon. There could be some weather that plays a role, but he's going to have a really fun time there because he's going to be running 900 miles. And the other big key thing, he finished on the lead lap. He completed all the laps. And he has said this, he started these races off very slow. But I feel like today, he was being more aggressive than normal. And that's what he's got to be, because he obviously wants to go full-time cup racing next year. And if he wants to do that, he's got to continue improving throughout these races. He beat drivers like Haley Deegan, Chandler Smith, Austin Hill, Cole Custer. He unfortunately got beat by drivers like Kyle Busch and Noah Gragson at the end. And of course, Chase Elliott, who went on to win the race. But to finish inside the top 15 is really, really great to see. And he's been finishing consistently around that top 15 to top 20 range. While it's not a win by any stretch of imagination, I think he's starting to show a lot of speed, because that's why I always pick him as underdog pick every week, because I think he's going to finish up front in a lot of these races. And honestly, he's been doing a very solid and good job this year, all things considered. He's only had like 3 or 4 finishes outside the top 20. He survives a lot of carnage. He survived the attrition. There was like 10 cars that failed to finish this race. And yeah, he got that damage from Taylor Gray, but he was overall doing a very, very good job today. And that's all that matters. And you think about his schedule coming up too. Tomorrow, he's got the Coca-Cola 600. Then, of course, he's going to be spotting in a couple weeks for Will Brown. He's got the Xfinity race in Portland. I've got that race circled as a race-winning pick for him. He's got Sonoma. He did the testing over there in Xfinity. I think he's going to have an advantage over everybody else at that new racetrack. He's been doing a very good job. Got some road courses coming up. He's got a good chance to make the playoffs. If he doesn't make any mistakes, I think he'll be very, very good. Nonetheless, it's really glad to see Shane Van Gisbergen have a really, really strong run. He did an excellent and really, really great job today. And like I said, to finish inside the top 15 is really, really phenomenal. Congratulations on a great and a solid run for SVG. Again, I think he could have had a top 10 finish, but to finish inside the top 15, he should be very proud of that good run for Shane, who finished inside the top 15 today. So, that is going to be it for today's special video on Shane Van Gisbergen. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's video. How do you think Shane Van Gisbergen performed today, and what are your expectations for tomorrow? Because remember, he's running the Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Later tonight on the channel, we'll have reactions to Coca-Cola 600 qualifying. Then tomorrow, if the Indy 500 happens, we'll have reactions to that. We'll have the starting lineup video for the Coke 600 dropping as well. And we'll have the SVG video and Coke 600 race review. And if the Indy 500 doesn't happen tomorrow, it'll be a race review of that on Monday. Got a ton of great NASCAR content, other motorsports content dropping over the next couple days that I cannot wait for you guys to check out. And remember, I'm going to Gateway next week, so I'm really excited about that. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.